I am Lee Pitts, and here at the 2013 Diversity Aquatics Convention, the first annual. It's been a pleasure for me to be a part of it. I served as the master of ceremony, or the moderator for a portion of the conference that opened yesterday, and it's sort of wrapping up tonight. We have a fantastic time here down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I was a part of the host committee along with Ken Rowland, and we worked closely with Sean and Miriam to bring this convention to a reality. We had a great time. We had over 70 people to attend the conference. We had some off-site events, triathlon, demonstration, and so on. We visited the Fort Lauderdale, the International Swimming Hall of Fame, went out and got to partake in the city nightlife and day life along Fort Lauderdale Beach. So we shared our best practices. We learned about all the different learn to swim programs, competitive swimming programs that are going on around the country, and many of them have a diverse angle to them, diversity in terms of reaching out to minority and disadvantaged kids to bring them into the aquatics world and educate them at an early age on all the benefits of learning to swim and how that can benefit them in long term in their lives. They can get employment with swim skills, as well as they can be participating as a lifelong sport. Some of you may know me from previous work I've done in aquatics over the years. Co-author of the highly acclaimed article Black Splash, the history of African American swimmers, and of course the Learn to Swim DVD that I put out back in the 90s called Waters Beginner Swim Lessons for Adults and Children with Lee Pitts. That was a groundbreaking Learn to Swim product that was one of the best-selling Learn to Swim DVDs, where I had a diverse group of children in the DVD, all ethnic groups, along with myself as the instructor, and we go through the fundamentals of swimming. Today, I actually got a chance to share with the Diversity Aquatics Convention audience some of my experiences as a child, and it was just so enlightening for me to know that I was inspiring them and our stories were connected, and I met a lot of my heroes and people I had never met before here today. Particularly, I got a chance to meet a diver whom I didn't, my passion actually as a child was diving. I wish I could have been exposed to diving. Somebody could have taught me something and I could have been a springboard diver, but that didn't happen in housing projects where I was growing up. So the diver was more fascinated that I was interested in knowing more about him, because he thought that I was some celebrity of sort that he had been following for years, but he was more of a celebrity to me. This just was a great exchange. We learned a lot. We're going to build on this for next year. If you didn't come this year, of course, and you're looking at this now, we encourage you to come out next year and be a part of this revolution where people of color and other ethnic groups are coming together, and non-ethnic groups, but it's definitely being led by people of color who are trying to do something good in our own community. Many people are helping us to get this movement on as far as drown prevention, but we think it's our responsibility to be responsible for our community, our children and our adults, and to educate about aquatics and to make people understand that it's a beautiful thing, nothing to be afraid of, something to embrace, something to love and enjoy. All the wonders that come as a result of you being skilled in aquatics can help you with your confidence. It can help you in terms of employment, lifeguard, scuba diver, underwater photographer, marine biologist. Many municipalities require their law enforcement officers, EMS techs, firemen, and so on to have a certain degree of swim skills. And also, if you go to the military and boot camp, or if you go to the Marines or Coast Guards and those types of places, having great swim skills or strong swim skills can propel you to higher positions and promotions in a rapid way. It's very well respected, and you can have fun. Go out on the jet ski, go snorkeling, enjoy all this 75% of water that encompasses this earth. And we're going to do our job here in the 21st century. We're going to take this forward in a way that has never been done before. We're going to make our community, we're going to educate our communities, Hispanic, Latino, African American, just blacks, Asians, everybody. We're just gonna have a great time in a diverse world of aquatics.
Well, I wanted them to know that at the age of 46, it was very important for me to learn to swim. Quite often, as a journalist, we don't get involved until it's too late, when a child has drowned and we respond and we do stories about why that child drowned. So it was important for me to learn to swim. And it took me a long time to learn to swim. It took me months to learn to swim.
What did it do for you once you learned?
It gave me the confidence to know that I can be a good role model for other adults who may be fearful, ashamed, or embarrassed to admit that they don't know how to swim. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And I was determined, I am going to learn to swim. I am going to learn to be safe in water. And I decided I'm going to do it at whatever it takes. I took 1 week off and I swam every single day just to help improve my stroke. I wanted to show people in my community that it's never too late to learn to swim. For various reasons, many African Americans did not learn to swim as children. And as a consequence of that, many of our children and our grandchildren are the ones who are drowning. So it's very important for me, as an African American, to be a good role model in my community, to emphasize to parents and grandparents, you need to learn to swim so that your children and grandchildren are also good swimmers. There is so much work that needs to be done. We need all hands on deck right now. The drowning numbers are really severe. Black children are 3 times more likely to drown than other children. This is a 911 situation. We need everybody in the community to get on board with this. We can't rely on the federal government or state governments or local governments to help. We're going to have to do this on the grassroots level.
Everybody needs to be doing something.
I would encourage you to use the next year to get to learn the partners who are involved in this process, get to know diversity in aquatics, get to know USA Swimming, get to know the people who are working on the grassroots level to help solve this problem. And you can do that through social media. Diversity in Aquatics is on Facebook. You can find us on the internet. Join that website and get to learn some of the people who are involved in this effort. Go to the International Swimming Hall of Fame website, and you will see the story that I did that chronicled my efforts to learn to swim. It was very difficult and it was very embarrassing at times, but I was determined to tell my story to offer others encouragement to learn to swim.
Well, this year I had the honor of coming to the conference. I'm the founder of End Needless Drowning New York, which is a youth development through aquatics program, that grant-funded program that I've had the honor to be a part of. Some of the goals of the program are that overall with DAP, it was to combat the issue of drowning, and I like to consider myself a problem solver. And the End Needless Drowning New York program, which is also Project Art Make a Splash program, is a collaboration with United States Swimming, the Hempstead School District, the Red Cross in Long Island, and Adelphi University, where I'm an assistant professor. Through the program, we have been able to provide students with learn to swim opportunities, water safety training, first aid CPR, lifeguard training, and the overall goal to help them get jobs in the field, in the aquatic occupation. And students have also had the opportunity really to just grow as individuals through goal setting, and that's really turned out to be one of the greatest accomplishments for me. You know what? It's amazing. Yes, it's funny. It's like being in a historical archive. Running into my first coach ever, being a swimmer out of PDR, running into my first coach, Charlie Lumpkin here, and then talking to my coach, Jim Ellis. It's just been, you know, astronomically wonderful. But also having the opportunity to meet you, Mr. Pitts, and knowing your research and really finding out more about the history of African Americans and aquatics. I mean, that has been something that has truly touched my heart in such a way that it makes sense that we understand the importance and the relevance and really try to do our best to continue this charge that really, in a sense, has been passed down for generation to generation. Diversity to me means a variety of people of color coming together to unite to share their histories. And African Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, Asian, and really showing the relevance sometimes that is overlooked in white America. Not taking anything away, but really saying, you know what, we're a force to reckon with, and we don't just appear like a speck in the night. We've been here all along, and our history, sometimes when you listen to the word history, it's his, and it's time for us to tell ours.
You know, one of the strange things about me and my history is that my family was an aquatic family, and you know, here as the African Americans, we were pioneers and first here in the city of Fort Lauderdale as far as being lifeguards on the beach, on integrated beach patrols, as well as part of the management on beach patrols. So, I always found it a struggle that we always had to go through. You know, I keep saying, how long will this thing go on? So, if we can get together with people that look like us and have common cause as far as this whole drowning prevention initiative, I think that we can certainly make some waves. Just like I stand upon those black folks that were first in aquatics here locally, I can be that same shoulder that other people the young people can stand upon to do the same thing. One of the things is that because of the opportunities that it represents, you know, in the aquatic field, there is the central theme of swimming. And the thing here is this: many jobs depend upon swimming ability. For example, as a firefighter, you have to take a swim test. As a police officer, you have to take a swim test. So, and the thing is this: everywhere you go, there's some kind of pool in your town or at your university, or there's a pool somewhere. And those pools are going to need lifeguards, those pools are going to need pool managers, pool mechanics, and that sort of thing. So it also just balloons into an economic boom for you. You know, one of the things here that's having it at a venue here in the city of Fort Lauderdale, this is also the city that houses the International Swimming Hall of Fame. So one of the highlights of this particular conference is whereas many of the conference participants went on a tour on the International Swimming Hall of Fame Museum and got to learn some of the history, whereas it shows and documents that people of color were the greatest swimmers on the planet for a long time. And then along came this thing called slavery, which kind of erased that 300-400 years of history and experience from us and trained us actually the opposite way, you know. And so that's the thing that I want people to connect with, is that we have a history of being the best swimmers on the planet, and I want you to connect with that so that then you can reclaim your heritage.
It's definitely worth it. I feel great about the event. It is one of those things that I always wanted to see. I had, you know, a bunch of my heroes in the aquatic professions, from rowing to water safety to teaching lessons to swimming, and I got to see basically all my heroes in one place, which is great. I saw them online. I got virtual information, over in the flesh, get to exchange stories, exchange ideas, exchange knowledge, and it was all I dreamt to be. You know, I'm excited about having the next one. I think the future holds more of the great stuff we did this weekend. We're working toward curbing those disparities in drowning and curbing the drowning statistics overall, and this weekend was really just a walk through all those, identifying the problem, identifying some things we're going to work on, and curbing the problem, and you know, all the tools and knowledge here at the convention just made it all the better. And I learned a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of people, and talked to them this weekend, learned a lot of things. On top of that, the fellowship, when you get like-minded people in the same room, it gives nothing but up. The ideas, the positive energy, the support, the encouragement to keep pushing forward is something that's very difficult. I think that the best answer to that is that there's a lot of variables that went into the statistics as they are now, the disparities among the Black and Hispanic population. So I think there's a lot of variables that have to be done to start to reverse that. And I think we can't undervalue any of those aquatic pieces. You know, I think there's everything from being a lifeguard or an Olympic swimmer. They both stand as role models for our youth, and they both dismiss the stereotypes that we don't participate in these activities or don't have aquatic abilities. You know, so if you're a rower, it's just important as if you're a lifeguard. If you're a water safety instructor, it's just important as if you're a high performance swimming coach or a scuba diver. All important things, all important variables. There's no one silver bullet to curing this. But together, all these variables, we can start to curb it, do the best we can to put a dent in this thing over the next few years.
We work with, our first piece really is assimilation. We're trying to bring in the new families to learn about how to be Americans, how to live in the United States, but we use the vehicle of swimming, competitive swimming, in order to do that. You know, in Northern Virginia, we are one of the largest areas in the country that provide swimming and swimming ability. There is a Northern Virginia Swim League with 10,000 members. There is a Reston League with more. There is the Maryland folks. There is Country Club League. So we are just a target-rich environment. And what we're finding is, especially because Northern Virginia was based in discrimination in the 50s, they shoveled under pools. These folks now are waiting there wanting to help people. And they also understand that if swimming does not reflect the population, it will not exist. I hope that they can see that anyone can make a difference. I hope they can see that you think outside the box. I use swimming in a particular way. I cross over barriers between instructing to swimming to competitiveness. But I want everybody to understand that it is a family event. When you look at the African American and the Native American, and particularly the Hispanic families, they are family enriched. In the 60s, when the cities were burning, when Martin Luther King was killed, and Bobby Kennedy, the way they stopped those was by the 100 black men. The fathers stood on corners and stopped people from violence. Yeah, nowadays they're saying, what do we do, what do we do? Well, you want to get to our kids, you get to them through families, and that's why I insist on having families with us every night. So I think it's selfish on my part. I come here, as I do whenever I can, with groups of folks to re-energize, to be able to see that other people are doing what I'm doing in another way, where we can share, where we can group back out there and go back out there and fight the fight. Because as you all know, it gets painful, it gets tiring, it wears, and yet you come out here and you see other people doing the same thing. These young people, because I'm already hurt. And these people are young and excited. You know, you get to watch these folks and you see they are the future. And if there's anything I can give them just a little bit to help with that spark, then it's worth me being here. I learned one of the things that I could do is safety training. Absolutely, safety training. And I have always disregarded lessons, and I learned from people like yourself I shouldn't do that. There's much more to it, and I need to get better at bringing that piece in.
Well, there's a couple of things, but the main thing that I wanted to do was be here to represent Potomac Valley Swimming. As I mentioned, I am on the board, but my role on the board is for diversity, inclusion, and outreach. So I wanted to represent Potomac Valley Swimming. I wanted to support diversity in aquatics and their initiatives, and I also wanted an opportunity to meet other individuals that are working towards these goals of creating diversity, inclusion, and outreach, and looking for an opportunity to learn from others and find best practices and have that energy of learning learning from each other, taking things that others are doing in their communities, in their areas, and taking these best practices back to the community that I'm in. Basically, it's a simple thing. You have to represent the interests that you can really speak to. So in my situation, I am a parent of swimmers. I happen to be Hispanic, Latino, Black, and a woman. And I think that it's important that those of us that have certain life experiences take that life experience and interject into an opportunity to then take that information, focus on diversity into, for example, in my case, the swimming community, and make sure that those interests are being represented. So I look for an opportunity to representing not only Hispanic, Latino, Black women, but taking those issues of diversity also for Asian Americans, African Americans, Native Americans, people that have financial difficulties and are on a social economic level that maybe it's difficult for them to participate in the sport of swimming, as well as others that just have different lifestyles, be it religious, different orientations. I want to be able to be a conduit for change for us to make sure that this sport of swimming is more inclusive. I see a very bright future, particularly after being here this weekend at this conference and having an opportunity to hear others talk about their experiences and their communities, things that have been going on for many years that even that I have not been aware of. I see a bright future because I saw a lot of energy here. I saw a lot of wonderful ideas. I saw a lot of wonderful programs that are already in place, that I think that now that we've gotten together, there's an opportunity for us to take what we've learned here and push it further out. Go back to our communities, to our adjacent communities, to the different sports that we represent in aquatics, or the different areas of aquatics that we represent, and take this information and energy and take it back out to those different areas. So I see a very bright future.
My program is based on getting our community involved. And when I started 30 years ago at my facility, we were after the target community, the African-based community. What's actually happened is when we've become diverse. We have all of India, all of Asia, all of Latin America, all of some Africa. But we still need to target our African-American young males and females. Here's when I am impressed by how this program was put together. The first thing that I learned was diversity. So I'm not going to lie to you, I was kind of forced to get here in the sense that I wanted a swim team thing. When I came in here, I found out it's an aquatic thing. I found out that I have to keep extending like an octopus my tentacles out in every aspect of aquatics to have all of our friends stick together. I can't be selfish. I have to remember that safety is primary. We want to prevent drownings. We want to promote aquatic education, and we have to extend our hands to everyone. You will be revitalized. It wakes you up. If you got tripped up in your field and you're being held back, you need to surround yourself with the conference members so that you can really get energized to go back out and keep with the fight. Believe it or not, I've really found out the term of diversity. It's called inclusion, including all. We have to walk away from self-interest and keep the interest for all. And that was the most powerful thing for me. It's changed my whole program.
I think I was. I think the program was, the presentation was well received. I was just trying to get across different programs that can be run in different communities. I mean, I'm just a single person in a community of Hampton Roads, Virginia, trying to make a difference, and you don't have to have, you don't, all you need is a pull and the desire and knowing that you can do something to make a difference. And I knew I could do that.
Tell us the short version of what RAPS is and what you've accomplished so far with RAPS.
It is a swim lesson program for minority and disadvantaged children in the Hampton Roads area, and that goes as far as Emporia, which is an hour and a half away. The kids, some of the kids are in the car longer than they're in the pool. But what we do is we give a 45-minute swim lesson and 45 minutes of free time. They come for 1 week. It's five days in between lesson time and free time. They get a safety lesson every day, and at the end of the week we go through graduation and we recognize each child, and they receive all kinds of giveaway items, and we truly believe that we are saving lives of children and adults in Hampton Road, because learning to swim is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And we are surrounded by water in Hampton Roads, and every child needs to learn how to swim so that they stay safe. They don't know what they're missing by not going in the water. We partner with a group called the Noblemen, and their slogan is "Be part of the solution." And what we hope to do is be part of the solution. We want to break the cycle of minorities and disadvantaged people not learning to swim. So these children that we are teaching now, we hope that their children will learn how to swim, and generations to come will learn how to swim. We've been able to put through 1,315 children and adults, mostly children, actually 1,309 children and 6 adults in the program over the last 7 years. Yes, this is a great networking. This is a great place to network. You meet all kinds of people from all over the country, and you can bounce ideas off of them. There was an issue that had come up this year that we were trying to determine if we were going to make changes for next year, and everybody that I've talked to have assured me that that is a good change. So I was very hesitant about that. A very good session was I was able to talk with Wanda Butts at length about Josh Project, because she has a very similar program with the Josh Project. We're both trying to prevent drowning, and so it was very good to be able to learn about how she got that program started and how they run that program and the cost involved and things like that.
How did you enjoy the conference?
I enjoyed it.
What did you like so much about it? Go ahead, talk to me. Give me a couple of words.
I enjoyed it because it's a move to doing something positive, coming together, bringing minds together, doing good things, brainstorming, and we're going to be wonderful, even better next year.
I became involved with diversity in aquatics when I first heard of it, probably about 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago now. I grew up as a swimmer for USA Swimming, as an age group swimmer. In college, I rowed for the University of Virginia and also Temple University, and I never saw people of color in rowing in particular. And then as an adult, I became a triathlete. So I'm a card-carrying member of USA Triathlon Association, and I feel that I can make a contribution based on my experiential knowledge in the sports, in the aquatic sports, and based on my knowledge of youth development and program development and making aquatic information, aquatic sports accessible to young people from all backgrounds. My definition of diversity is just creating a welcoming environment for all people, regardless of ability, socioeconomic status, race or ethnicity. I think that it's difficult at times to create a welcoming environment when you have such a very wide group of people that need to be served. And I think that diversity in aquatics brings together a lot of different disciplines and a lot of different resources to assist organizations with making sure that access and inclusion are paramount. I think that access and having multiple points of access to your organization and to your sport are very important, because we have a lot of systemic barriers that people may or may not be aware of. I mean, for instance, economic barriers. If you have to pay to be a member of an organization first before you can participate in that sport, it might be a barrier for your family. Maybe you're a great student at school, you're a strong athlete, but your family doesn't necessarily have the money to pay for membership to the governing body that manages that sport that you want to be a part of. Or maybe they just don't have access at all. Maybe you grew up in a family that thinks that being around water is dangerous and that you shouldn't participate participate in water sport. So I think that looking at all those different barriers that different families are facing in our communities is very important, and I think that we have to reach out to those families, especially because water safety information and being able to swim and be water safe is a life-saving attribute. It's very, very important, in particular with aquatic sport. Oh my goodness. I mean, this conference was phenomenal. This conference was phenomenal. I take my hat off to Miriam Lynch as well as Sean Anderson. I think that it's very, very important to be able to network with people who are coming from different regions of the country, dealing with different challenges and coming up with solutions together. I think that this conference was a lot of fun. We had a great time. We had a great time hearing about our history, learning things I had never heard of. I mean, I just had a phenomenal time, and I think that you missed a lot in terms of having access to the International Water Swimming Hall of Fame. Lee Pitts was one of our speakers, Sean Anderson, Miriam Lynch, Charlie Lumpkin, Arthur Lopez, all the names go on and on, but we had really aquatic sport royalty here at the DAP convention this year.
What inspired me to come to the conference for the first time, that I want to meet other people in the field, because I'm always teaching and doing research. So that was the #1 variable. I've seen a lot of the people, I've known a lot of the people, but as far as getting more information for research was the #1 variable. Was it worth my time? I couldn't trade it for anything in the world. It's almost like you compare, was at the Shaolin Temple. I just thought Kung Fu was Kung Fu. I found out it was Qigong. I found people were doing Tai Chi. I found they were doing Wushu. It was just so many experts at different levels. So if you look at aquatics, it's like an umbrella. First you think it's just swimming, then you find out it's rowing, then you find there's expert black divers or minorities, you find out the swim team, you find triathletes, you just find people doing research and bringing together for wellness. You find people just doing it to give back because someone has given to them. Okay, my program that we actually is divided into 3 variables. 1, I used to do consulting for agencies, the district government. 2, I was teaching so many people at Howard who want to become instructors. And 3, I used to work for the American Red Cross. So I left and started my own company, the Metro Wellness Institute, in 1994. And I end up going to China and bringing back a wellness program. And what I do, I have free running and wellness. I teach Tai Chi. And my daughter wanted to get into swimming, so I went to Howard and got on staff at Howard. And within being in the university setting, I found out not just in Washington, D.C., I can reach kids in Africa. I can reach people from Canada, New York, California. And so all of them had the #1 variable that need be. They lack consistent contact hours. So teaching and bringing everything together gave me the opportunity to let kids be successful in a discipline. You need to make your ticket today, because there's no way you're going to find an environment where the practitioner and the philosopher mix and bridge without political structures. It's just that everybody has a passion and a love for what they do, and you are not going to find this in any environment ever. I had the chance to meet the greatest person that inspired me from the public view, and that's Lee Pitts. Hi, thank you.
I'm running with my partner, the fast swimming team.
Oh, you have a swimming team in New York?
The 4 of us came down from the fast swim team.
Fast swim team, okay. How's fast? Tell us a little about the fast swim team.
We have a lot of cultures there. My daughter enjoying the swimming team for more than 8 years, and we can wait to see what is going on and getting our community better.
Oh, it was outstanding. Morehouse College had the best African American swimming team for a long time. They had Puerto Rican swimmers and white swimmers. They beat Georgia Tech. They beat some white schools. So for a long time, we couldn't beat them. And we had one lady today that said, I can't, it's a curse word. Well, I can't, I hated that word. And as a person on the South Carolina State swim team, we had never beat them. And I had a saying, sooner or later, you're gonna lose or quit. One of the two. So we finally beat them. We were the first African-American school to beat them. Our other major rival was Morgan State University. We used to beat them during the dual meets, but in championships, we only had 7 to 8 people. They used to come in 14, 15 swimmers. So they got the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever places they had left over, they would get them. So once I left school in 1973, from 73 to about 78, nobody beat South Carolina State. They had a real crack swim team.
Outstanding. Let's talk about the demise of competitive swimming at the historical black colleges and what brought that demise about, and how would you like to see historical black colleges reinvent themselves, particularly in the diversity area movement?
Primarily, this is from my own experience at South Carolina State, Title IX, when they had to appropriate funds for women's sports, which was a good thing, because you can see women playing professional basketball and all that. But that took a lot of money and resources away from some of the smaller programs. Also, as the black swimmers got better, they started going to Division I schools. And like at South Carolina State, they just start cutting budgets and cutting and cutting and cutting. I dove for a gentleman by the name of Jack Kelly with Vesper Boat Club, the millionaire Grace Kelly's brother. So he paid all my fees, he backed me. I worked at a swimming pool, whatever needed to get fixed up, he would always take care. We had a top-notch swimming pool on the East Coast at one time. So you need somebody with deep pockets, or it's gonna take all of us putting in a little bit. That's what has cost us big time. Our elementary schools, our middle schools, our high schools, we just leave and nobody goes back and send a dime a lot of times. Now I won't say nobody, but not enough people. If all of us just send $5, we could do a lot. Well, like you, Lee, I'm an optimist. They call me the eternal optimist, because I don't give up on hardly anything. And this is what the trends are. Right now in Philadelphia, basketball and football are 101. They built a new football field on each side of the swimming pool of 50 meters. 100 degrees outside, they out there trying to play football. The trend is, with concussions going the way they're going and the injuries for young people, there's a trend that's going to say, well, we got to try to look at something else. The number of drownings go up, we got to start focusing more. Now, it's going to take a while. I have a saying, TTT, things take time. So in the long run, when you look at that long level of history and the ups and downs, concussions, one of my best friends, Harry Carson, that played with the Giants, this came out of his mouth. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't play football. I was astounded. Now this man's in the Hall of Fame, but that's where the trends are going in terms of some of these other sports. All the people that get hurt in football, basketball, they be in there swimming at my age. I just swam 2 days ago. I'm 66 years old. They can't run, they can't jump. So now this is what's left.
Right.
Try to stay healthy.
Stay healthy.
Thaddeus Gamry. I'm the Diversity in Aquatics Triathlon Council Chair. And what brought me here is that I've been involved with Diversity Aquatic for several years and looking forward to this historic event of a collection of aquatic professionals, many that I've heard of, known about, seen in writing or television, and had an opportunity to meet personally. And that was which brought me here, so I can be a part of that effort to transform the swimming and aquatic culture for African Americans in particular, but for all people of color, so that, and all people, so that more people can learn the joy of swimming.
Right. Now you have
prevention.
That's right. You have a couple of angles that you approach it from, which is unique and very educational for the conference, that has a wide range of people who specialize in areas in aquatics. Would you say yours is triathlon, endurance swimming? Go ahead and Sesame Street that for us.
Sure. Yeah, even though I started as a competitive swimmer, I learned to love the sport of triathlon, and I see that there's an opportunity to use triathlon to attract more people who may not have an interest in swimming, when they know that in the sport of triathlon is only a part of the event is swimming. In addition to that, I use the water running, which is part of a triathlon, running is part of a triathlon, to introduce people who are traumatized and fearful of the water, wearing an aqua jogger belt, and they wear it around their waist, and it's a flotation device that allows them to keep their head above the water and then run in the water without having to put their face in the water, and that brings them to the water. And once they have a relationship with the water, then the next step is now we can start to learn to swim, because it immediately melts away a portion of the fear. And we do it with a group. So it's a group setting. I prefer groups over small one-on-one private lessons. We're traumatized.
Tell us about the success that you are having and have been having with Black Girls Run and an event that took place today that was a part of the Diversity Aquatics Conference.
Yes. Today we had an amazing event with a collection of at least 25 members of the South Florida Black Girls Run organization. Majority of them were non-swimmers, and several of them were traumatized swimmers. Matter of fact, members of the Diversity in Aquatics program and that are attending this conference, and the co-founder, Sean Anderson, the Chief Operating Officer, Miriam Lynch, as well as Daryl, the coach from Howard University, were at the event and actually also offered and helped some of these women become more proficient swimmers. So in today's event, what we did, because they're runners first, they had to do what they're good at, which was run. And they were eager to do that, and they did it. They did it with grace and stride. And then we got to the water. We allowed those who felt tentative to wear a belt, and we took out the lane lines and put in 4 buoys. So they had to swim around the buoys, similar to simulating an open water swim. And they would get out and run up the zero depth entry ramp, run back in, and do it again. So all of them wanted to complete that distance of either a 150-yard swim or a 300-yard swim, whether they would consider themselves competent swimmers or not. And they were able to do it because some of them had the assistance of the belt, some of them didn't. They chose to take it off because now they have been doing this for 10 weeks and now they're ready to go without the assistance of the belt. The collection of passionate professionals who are knowledgeable about the history of the efforts to curb the drowning rates in this country, who are at the beginning of the effort. Matter of fact, you yourself, Lee Pitts, I had the opportunity to meet several weeks ago and listen to you in this convention, as well as other people that are part of the National Drowning Prevention Alliance, that are part of USA Swimming, that are part of USA Rowing. There's a wealth of knowledge. Also, the Historically Black Colleges swim team were here. And what I think next year's going to happen, it's going to be an event you don't want to miss. Because the foundation is being laid this year and the connections are being made, matter of fact, with people that may have known of each other but weren't as connected. At least I can speak for myself. I had known of people, but I haven't had the connection that I have today through this convention and the topic of drowning prevention and swimming it for health and fitness and a lifestyle and the joy of it and having fun at it. But then the history.
Just in observing you at the conference, you sort of were like just a fly on the wall, taking notes, listening to everything, intensely absorbing everything. Was that that's the way you approach?
Yeah.
That was your approach,
Yeah,
or that's the way you decided to approach it?
Absolutely. There was so much going on. There was so much knowledge being shared. I didn't want to bring an opinion or a question in as much as I wanted to hear the opinion and thoughts of others, because it was a collection of people from around the nation and have had more decades, some of them many more decades than I do on the professional side of swimming and aquatics and triathlons.
Well, coming up in a military background, there weren't many African American swimmers traveling abroad. As a matter of fact, I was part of a German swim team where my coach spoke better Russian than English. I was the only African American that went to German swim meets abroad. When we moved back here, it was the attention from Roger McCoy, who serves as a mentor for me in the Washington, D.C. area, that approached my parents and said, you need to join in the Black History swim meet. From then, it was just like a great comfort and just a great level of just different learning that, wow, the breadth of, there are other African Americans, other minorities in the swimming environment. What caught my attention to diversity in aquatics was that I went to a summit in 2009, and that's when I met Sean Anderson. I told him about an event that I did, was called the College Knowledge Event, and the whole purpose was that I was finding out a lot of my peers weren't going to college and swimming when they were fully capable of doing it. And during that conversation, Sean mentioned diversity in aquatics and some of the goals, and he even challenged me to do better back in my community and do more. And from there, and to use diversity in aquatics as kind of my vehicle to get the message out and share some of the events and things that we were doing, because it wasn't being done really on our LSC level. And so from that, it kind of empowered me. I went on diversity in aquatics. I saw what other people were doing. From that, we did a water safety event. I advertised on diversity in aquatics. People volunteered through that. That's how I found out about DC Strokes, because Richard Butler was a part of it. It was my network of people I could contact for questions, I could contact for advice, and just get an idea of things that I can do in my community that seemed impossible before. Personally, it's a dream come true. That's what this convention is. It's a dream realized. You know, working with Sean and hearing some of the ideas and ideas across the country that people have, there was only in swimming, the world that I knew, where we had that interaction with only a few. If you were a part of a board, you were invited to those meetings. If you were a chair, you were invited to the meetings. Other than that, there was no other forum that was an open forum for people to come and share ideas with each other, such as the network provided me socially. So in a sense, this is we're a chance for everyone to come together and share those ideas and like minds and moving the sports, aquatics, forward in the realm. And to be a part of it, it is. I have a lot of pride.
Tell people what you see them having missed by not being here this year, and encourage them to come next year.
You missed a lot. You missed a history making moment. Never before has something like this have been done, where you're getting not just one aquatic discipline being a part of it, but you're getting multiple facets of aquatic disciplines. It's not only just swimming competitive, but it's your learn to swim, it's your bridge programs, it's your rowing programs that can be simulated into other programs. You have triathlon a part of it, you've got people from scuba, you've got all these different aquatic interests coming together under one common goal, and everyone is happy to work together because they know that our main goal is to curb the drowning statistics. And I think that's so important. We're all part of that goal. We all need to learn how to swim as our common platform, and everybody's working on that common solution together, no matter if you are from, you know, out in California and you're part of a kayaking group, or you're all the way from Washington, D.C. and you're part of a swimming group. We're all here working together, and I think that is so powerful in itself. What would please me next year? Yeah, definitely more people being involved, and it's not just, you know, to expand, but to get the message out back to your community. Some things that we learned this weekend is common vocabulary. What's a near drowning? What's a fatal drowning? Being safer in the water. Getting us on that same vocabulary and getting the message back out to your community to save lives. I think that is one of the most important things that we're all working on, is that it is horrible, the stories you hear of the drownings that are taking place. and that each of us has, being in the aquatics field and having the gift that we've been given and the skill sets we've been given to be able to go back and do something. And I think that's what the conference has empowered people, that, you know what, I am not alone in my cause, that there are like-minded individuals, there's a network of people, and it's nothing but love and family when you come to something like this. Yes, so diversity is that all the different aspects and people coming together under one common goal. It doesn't matter who you are, your ideas can be diverse. You're not just by ethnic group diverse, but your ideas, your associations, how you were brought up. That's what makes us, and that's what we had in this conference, is that each of us are unique and have a unique perspective to aquatics, and then even our own aquatic disciplines. So, and having that exchange of ideas, like, oh, you're right, I never really thought about that before, gives you a great perspective and another way of thinking about how to better not only your sport, but even your community and yourself. And that's what I got from the conference. There's so many different people from different walks of life that came a part of it, and that's what made it so special, is that I honestly feel like this is my conference, this is my family now.
We are extremely proud of all our aquatic partners, from Diversity in Aquatics to other partners, stepping forward and trying to impact diversity by bringing in new athletes and exposing new swimmers to different communities that they're not familiar with. Diversity is just not making sure the sport is diverse, it's also making sure that our athletes understand other communities that they may not be familiar with. That brings about diversity internally and externally by bringing in new members. They miss the opportunity to learn from various professionals that have experience reaching into different communities, whether it's representatives from NDPA, myself, and others. We have experience reaching out to these different groups, whether it's African Americans, Hispanic, Native Americans, and bringing everyone together in one place to generate ideas that can impact swimming at all different levels. And it's just not swimming. USA Rowing was here, and other sports organizations were here as well. If you didn't come, you missed out on a lot.
Tell us a bit about the fast swim team in New York.
Well, we have about 80 kids, age group from 5 all the way to 18. Basically, we have a variety of ethnic groups that come along, from Caucasians to Latinos to African American, Asians, and we're really trying to target the community to come in and really participate and be part of this program, so that we, again, like the convention said, try to prevent drowning for these diverse cultures that are not available to come to the pool on a frequent basis or don't have economic means to be able to attend. I agree, only because it's kind of difficult to find other people who have the same passion or the same issues or challenges that we are facing. And since we come from a population where we're based on where it's a huge disparity in economic as far as being able to get into the pool or understand. And a lot of my kids, for instance, say to me, African Americans, oh, that's not for us, it's for white people. So coming here together to kind of talk on the same idea and really project what we want to do in order to be able to really make a movement and a change is really special. And I feel like myself being part of this is great. I made contacts, I'm able to talk to different people. Triathlon was something that I really wanted to connect with some people, and I have someone here that now I can get some ideas that we'll be able to introduce to our kids back at the center. Well, come along, fresh ideas. It's always good to come and connect and kind of know different people in the areas, and really it sheds a light on what we should be doing. What more can we do to better make this movement change into the avenue that we really wanted to go into. So this is a place where it starts. I feel that this first convention was a great idea because it's special. We put the imprint, we put the mark. Now we really have to start moving our actions to really reflect back to what we said we want to do and really reach out to different communities so that they can also be a part of it and not feel like they're the only ones that are going through this, because it's not. It's nationwide, it's everywhere, it's an epidemic, it's a problem that needs to be addressed, and I think the more that we have people coming together to understand and unify that, the better results we're going to have in the end.
These are 100 that are year-round, that they're
year-round
USA registered, they're
registered,
competitive swimmers.
Competitive swimmers. Problem is, Badger, Empire, keep taking our better ones. You know what I'm saying? So we're now spreading out so that we can centralize diversity so that our parents stop running to the other guy across the block.
Okay, now that other guy, because I don't know your area well enough, that other guy across the block, is that a diversity team also, or is that?
No, they just take them because they're fast.
Same thing you've been saying.
Same thing I've been saying. Yeah.
So my thing is that when my fast kids go to your fast kids, they realize they don't have to go to the other side of the fence.
Right.
Swimming's universal.
Right.
You know,